ever been right on the edge? You know, that feeling where everything's just poised? Could be a physical thing or maybe a big life choice.
Yeah, that precipice feeling, it's powerful.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at that, but also those really profound moments that can just flip your world upside down, completely new realities.
Hmm.
So if you're like our listener, you love those aha moments, want the core insights without getting, bogged down, then this is for you.
Think of it as a shortcut to understanding a pretty amazing personal story.
What really grabs me is how one single really intense experience can just pivot everything, change the whole direction of a life.
Yeah, it's off of those moments, isn't it?
Totally. So today we're diving into this journey of an 18-year-old. Starts on the French coast, but then this wild chain of events leads him all the way to India.
And we're drawing this mainly from Peter Lingle and Richard's Journey.pdf, which is this great firsthand account, very raw, very personal.
Right. So our mission today, let's really unpack this thing. We want to look closely at a near-death experience he had and then that pivotal arrival in India.
And explore what those moments tell us about, well, intuition, maybe feeling guided, and that sort of basic human search for deeper meaning.
Okay, let's get right into it. The story kicks off in Le Bar, France. Picture it. Powerful Atlantic waves, right? Crashing down. There's a jetty and this really strong rip current.
Nasty combination.
Yeah, and our 18-year-old is surfing, catches this huge wave like 15 feet, and then boom, loses control.
The account talks about just being ripped away, losing the board, caught in that current, helpless. It uses the phrase violent clash of elements.
Wow.
Really makes you think about those times you're up against something way bigger than you are.
Absolutely. So he's adrift, no board, just raw power. And he cries out basically, Lord, if you exist, you better do something real fast.
Desperation.
Total desperation. And in that moment, he closes his eyes, maybe fear, maybe surrender, who knows? And suddenly he's just enveloped by this incredible light. Blissful.
And the text describes it not like a bright light outside him, but something filling him completely. Pure bliss. It calls it the light of the source, the universal one.
A feeling of connection, then.
Exactly. Ultimate unity, you could say.
Yeah.
And in that light, he sees this image. A small Indian boy, no words, just this feeling, conveying basically it's going to be okay.
And here's where it gets. Wow. Really strange. Next thing he knows, he's on the shore.
Just there.
Yeah. People who saw it apparently called it a miracle. Like, how did he get from nearly drowning way out there to suddenly being on the sand?
It definitely pushes the boundaries of, normal explanation. The account frames it as grace, maybe some kind of intervention.
And the impact on him was immediate, right?
Huge. This profound sense of being protected, watched over. And at 18, this sudden, deep understanding, the body's fragile, but consciousness that endures. And this lines up with a lot of research into near-death experiences, NDEs. People often report that same light, that same feeling of peace.
Yeah, the script mentions he later read about NDEs and recognized those elements, the light, the bliss.
But the key takeaway for him, the really pivotal thing, wasn't just surviving. It was realizing that this connection, this light, this source, it wasn't just a one-off triggered by crisis. He realized it could potentially be accessed consciously. Always there, awake, asleep, dreaming. That connection is possible.
So at the absent, it wasn't an ending. It was like a starting gun.
Exactly. The text calls it the powerful spark that ignited the next phase. And that phase, an immediate decision. Travel to India with his friend Peter. That NDE became the fuel.
Driven by this new inner knowing.
Right. And the journey through Europe began. It's this mix of energies. Venice, connecting with a friend there. Then Yugoslavia. A bit suspicious, the atmosphere, but beautiful country mountains, the coast. And there's this nice little detail about Peter playing the harmonica. Simple comfort on the road. Did anything there jump out at you, considering what just happened to him?
It feels like he's carrying that sense of wonder with him, maybe, through all these different places. Then Athens, feeling that ancient vibe at the Parthenon.
Yeah, that deep history.
And then a big change. They sell the car, fly to Istanbul. That classic crossroads, east meets west.
Beautiful mosques, he notes, but also tension, police with submachine guns, a different feeling.
And then that theme of guidance pops up again.
Yeah, in Istanbul, some woman just warns them, hey, police raid coming. So they leave, maybe dodging some real trouble. It reinforces that feeling of being looked after,
Yeah.
Like something's guiding their steps.
Almost an unseen hand.
Kind of. Then Turkey? Another delay, the border to Iran is closed.
Yeah.
The Shah's having this massive 1000th anniversary party.
Wow. Talk about contrast.
Right, this huge display of wealth and power, maybe while ordinary people are struggling. And even the Queen of England is there in a parade.
Yeah.
It just highlights these big structures of power.
Different worlds colliding.
Definitely makes you think about how those external structures affect us, right?
Yeah.
How societies set themselves up.
So the border eventually opens, and the journey through Iran sounds rough.
Yeah, very raw description. Packed trains, dirty buses, a big shift from Europe.
And Tehran.
Beauty, but with this darker energy underneath. There's a chilling story about a tourist getting killed for accidentally going into a mosque.
Oh, wow.
And then they have this encounter with the secret police. Brutal approach to drug problems. It really shows a more oppressive side.
How brutal.
The account mentions shooting suspected drug users on site. Just zero tolerance. A stark reminder of how different law and order can be.
Jeez. Okay, so after Iran.
Afghanistan. And it's like a total scene change. High mountain desert. Feels ancient, like stepping back centuries.
Land of warriors, it says.
Yeah. Guns are everywhere. This underlying tension, he compares it to the Wild West, its own code. People are described as nice generally, but you don't cross them.
Understood.
And culturally, widespread hash use is mentioned, just a norm there, like alcohol elsewhere.
Right.
But then in Kabul, there's this sort of sad scene. Lots of European hippies kind of lost in opium addiction.
Ah, a real contrast to his journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really highlights the difference, maybe, between seeking something externally versus that internal focus he seems to have.
Because he's staying focused despite all this.
Seems like it. Daily meditation becomes really important. Strengthening that intuition, that pull towards India, that feeling that something big is waiting.
Like an inner compass.
Yeah, guiding him through the chaos.
Next up, the Khyber Pass. Sounds legendary.
And dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Treacherous road, crazy drivers, buses with religious altars inside. This mix of sacred and seriously perilous.
Like you're putting your faith in more than just the driver.
Pretty much. Navigating those mountain roads, the only way to Pakistan, apparently. It underlines the commitment, the risk involved.
Okay, so they make it through Pakistan. Quick stop in Lahore.
Yeah.
Then the Indian border. And this is where it gets really intense geopolitically.
Right. On the Pakistan side, signs saying crush India.
Yeah.
On the India side, crush Pakistan.
And they arrive literally at the start of the Indo-Pakistani War. The border closes the very next day for 5 years.
Get out! That timing is incredible.
Isn't it? This deeply personal quest just slams right into this massive conflict. It's such a stark picture of how humans create divisions, borders.
Built on fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's that Zorian quote the text mentions. Borders are built not of stone, human, but of fear. Really hits home there.
So after all that, they finally cross into India. And that first day...
Incredible is how it's described. The crossing itself felt like an initiation. And the walk from the border, 2 miles, wasn't just procedure.
What was it like?
Teeming with life. Parrots, wild birds everywhere. Like this explosion of vibrant, unrestrained energy. A symbol of the land, maybe?
And he feels something shift.
Profoundly. During that walk, this deep feeling washes over him. I'm home. Like fundamentally home. A resonance with the place. And this certainty that something amazing was about to happen. Following that intuition paid off.
Wow. Even the practical stuff seems different. Customs.
Yeah, gets to the customs check. There's this official, known for being super strict, busting smugglers. But he just feels this peace and sails right through. No problem.
Like his inner state is affecting things.
Seems that way. The description is so vivid, setting sun on all those parrots, this incredible perfume in the air. Like the land itself is welcoming him.
Amazing. Then an overnight train to New Delhi. Time to find somewhere to stay.
Right. Practicalities. They hear rumors Sikhs might offer shelter at temples, so they head to one.
But they get redirected.
Yeah, unexpectedly. Instead of just a bed for the night, someone tells them about this huge festival happening for a guru named Maharaj Ji, a 13-year-old boy just back from a tour in the West.
13. Okay. And does this ring any bells for him?
Get to,
Yeah.
4 months earlier, he'd actually read about this kid in Time magazine, and his sister had mentioned him too.
Whoa. Synchronicity.
Right, so there's maybe some skepticism too,
Yeah.
a guru that young.
Yeah.
But the festival is immense. 1 million people. They get escorted right up to the stage.
1 million people.
Yeah. And then Maharaj Ji appears, walks onto the stage, dressed as Krishna, gold, jewels, the whole thing.
Quite an entrance. And his reaction.
Intense. He starts laughing and crying at the same time. This deep, like soul-level recognition. The account just says, I was home. More than a feeling, a knowing.
It's like all the pieces clicked into place.
Exactly. That feeling of destiny he'd had, the vision back in France after the accident, this lifelong search. It all just converges on this kid. He knows this boy can show him that direct connection he glimpsed.
And he wasn't looking for dogma, right?
No, the text emphasizes that.
Yeah.
He wanted the experience, not philosophy, not rules, but the direct experience of God, of the source.
And what was Maharaj Ji's message?
Very direct. Seeing is believing. He uses this analogy like, if I told you there was a 10-foot ant outside, would you believe me?
Probably not.
Right, you'd have to see it. So the invitation wasn't believe me, it was, here's a practice, try it, see for yourself.
An offering, then. A way to experience it directly.
A key, basically, a key to unlock those inner doors. It's this huge turning point. The journey, that initial spark, has found this guiding light, the promise of direct connection.
It reminds me of that other quote about the universe waiting for us to be ready to see.
Yeah, exactly, that feeling. The universe isn't hiding. We just need to open our eyes, be ready.
So reflecting back on this whole thing, that near-death experience was obviously transformative, redirected his whole life.
Absolutely. Opened up new perspectives, and then we saw that intuition acting as this powerful guide through a really challenging, varied journey.
And hitting up against those stark realities of human conflict, those borders people create.
Yeah, that contrast is powerful, and it all culminates in that moment of recognition in India, the start, potentially, of a path to real inner exploration.
Yeah, what a journey, packed with those aha moments, wasn't it? Across continents, cultures, hopefully giving you, our listeners, some deep insights pretty quickly.
Which brings us to a final thought for you. Think about your own life for a second. Have you had moments where you felt this strong pull, maybe inexplicable, toward something, or experienced a sudden shift that just changed your direction? Could those be, similar nudges from that interconnectedness?
Makes you wonder.
And what borders might you be approaching now? Maybe internal ones, beliefs, or external circumstances? What could be waiting on the other side if you cross them?
Yeah.
Just something to consider. The power of your own inner knowing, that intuition, versus just relying on what's outside what others say, what you're supposed to believe. Which voice do you listen to?